Hi everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today I am recording a TBR, which is not something I typically do because I'm generally pretty terrible at keeping to TBRs. But this is a TBR of books that I am planning to take away with me on a trip. And the trip will be, by the time, if this goes to plan, and I get this video up when I'm intending to, I will be on that trip while you're watching this. So yeah, I thought I would just show you the books that I have put aside to bring with me on this trip. It is a driving trip, so I don't have weight limits or, space limits in terms of what I can bring. So I'm just bringing a stack of books with me. And there is a bit of a theme to these stacks. I've got some books that are Stellar Prize shortlist books. I've got two books that I am reading for book clubs that I'm part of, and one that's a bit of a random one from my 24 and 24 video, which I will link up above in the cards and down below in the description. So I just need to kind of keep moving on that because I've been delaying with all of this reading. So I'm hoping that I'll get to that one, but that may not happen. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Okay, now the other fun surprise that I have with this video is I have paired all of these books with a bookmark from my extensive bookmark collection. And the way that I pair my bookmarks with my books, because I do have a system, because of course I do, is either there's like a color match, there's a vibe match, there's a thematic match, and if all else fails, I just go with one that I really like. So I'm going to show you the bookmarks as well, and I will also be letting you know where they came from, because yeah, in case you're interested, because a lot of these bookmarks I get off Etsy and some of them are still available, and even if the particular one is not available, but you just enjoy the style, there might be something else there that you're interested in. So I will be linking down in the comments, not in the comments, sorry, in the description below, the stores, the Etsy stores where I have purchased these bookmarks from, if they are still available and the store still exists. Okay, I'm going to start with my Stellar Prize stack, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the books, and I'm going to show you the bookmarks, of course. So let's start with one that I'm already underway with reading. If I finish this before I go on the trip, then obviously I won't be taking it with me. This is also a library book, so the fewer library books I can take with me, the better, because I'm going to feel a lot more confident if I don't take too many library books with me, because I don't have to be worrying that I'm going to leave them behind. Anyway, the first one is this one, Body Friend by Katherine Brabon. This one has an absolutely stunning cover, which I discovered was designed by an artist who I really like and whose name escapes me right now, Alison Colpoys. She has illustrated a couple of kids' books that I really, really like, and I love her illustrations. I heard her speak at a author and illustrator talk, and yeah, so I was very excited to find out that she illustrated this cover. Anyway, this one is Body Friend, and it is a book that is all about chronic illness and sort of a recovery. So the main character in this book is has a chronic illness, which so far, in what I've read so far, hasn't been exactly named. So you don't sort of talk about exactly what this illness is, but it is resulting in, she has a limp, and she's had a surgery because something is going on with one of her legs, and she's got a lot of chronic pain and also a little bit of mobility issue. So she meets two new friends after her diagnosis, and she's going through that recovery, not her diagnosis, after her operation that she has, and she's going through recovery from the operation, doing a sort of aqua aerobics kind of style of thing. She meets somebody there, and then she also meets another person and these people also have chronic illness and chronic pain. She meets another woman in the park who becomes a friend as well, and she these two women have a very different take on chronic illness and chronic pain, and how that should be kind of dealt with and managed in your life. And she's sort of between these two friends. So I'm enjoying this book. Enjoying is probably not the right word. I'm engaging with this book and I'm feeling really good about it so far. So hopefully as I continue to read, I'm going to enjoy that. The bookmark, which I have to be very careful in pulling out because it is actually marking a spot that I have paired with this one, is this. This was a colour pairing. This one comes from Emily Cromwell Designs, and I've got a couple of her designs coming up as well with some of my future bookmarks that you're going to be seeing. But yeah, I thought this was a really cute one, and the colour pairing of the blue is pretty close, I think. All right, that's my first book that's coming away with me. The second one is one I'm actually not looking forward to reading at all, and I was hoping it wasn't going to make the shortlist because I actually didn't want to read it, but we'll see how we do. It's about abattoirs, that's why. And I'm a vegetarian, although she is also, I believe, possibly even a vegan, because she's talking in a negative way about abattoirs and the meat industry. But it's called Abandon Every Hope by Hayley Singer, Essays for the Dead. This is an essay collection, and well, it says it's a lament, a deranged encyclopedia, and a diary of anxiety. How can anyone document the vastness of violence against animals in a bloated industrial age? Hayley Singer investigates the literatures of the slaughterhouse to map the contours of a world cut to pieces by organised and profitable death. In her compelling and poetic prose, Singer asks how we may write the life of the dead, the smell of an egg factory, of multi-species PTSD, of planetary harm and self-harm, of the horror we make on Earth. Where does the slaughterhouse begin and how can it end? So I am actually not looking forward to reading this one at all, but I am trying to read the Stellar shortlist, so I'm going to give it a go. This is a library book, so we're going to be very careful and make sure we don't lose it. I've also paired this one with another Emily Cromwell Design bookmark. This one was harder to pair, but I feel like colour-wise this one goes. The design is a little fox sleeping on some books. It's a very autumnal kind of feel, and it is autumn here in Australia. We're starting to get slightly cooler weather in Sydney, but where I'm heading south, so it will hopefully be a bit cooler there as well. Sorry about that, my husband's just come home. So we're going to continue on and move on to the next book that I will be taking with me on my trip, and that is this chunky one, Alexis Wright's Praiseworthy. This is another one I was hoping was not going to make the shortlist, only because that's how big it is, and I know it's going to take me ages to read. So I figured it would be a good time to take it on my holiday so that I am able to dedicate some time and get it done. So this one is, it says, it is an epic set in the north of Australia, told with the richness of language and scale of imagery for which Alexis Wright has become renowned. In a small town dominated by a haze cloud, which heralds both an ecological catastrophe and a gathering of the ancestors, a crazed visionary seeks out donkeys as the solution to the global climate crisis and the economic dependency of the Aboriginal people. His wife seeks solace from his madness in following the dance of butterflies and scouring the internet to find out how she can seek repatriation to China. One of their sons, called Aboriginal Sovereignty, is driven by despair to contemplate suicide. The other, Tommy Hawk, wishes his brother dead so that he can pursue his dream of becoming white and powerful. When the town is overrun by donkeys, the residents and their strange religious sects react with anger, led by the mayor, the albino Aboriginal named Ice Pick, and his outlandishly dressed Ice Queens. This is a novel which pushes allegory and language to its limits, a cry of outrage against oppression and disadvantage, and a fable for the end of days. So it sounds mad. So I am actually interested in the premise of it because it just sounds like a crazy sort of book. But at the same time, I am feeling a little bit intimidated because it's over 700 pages long. Let me check the page numbers all together. 723. So this is going to take me some time. So anyway, I am taking it away with me on the holiday. Now the bookmark I have paired with this one is another Emily Cromwell Designs. This one here. And this was a hard book to pair with because I don't have many in this kind of colour scheme. But this has some yellows in it, so I've decided to pair it that way because of the yellow in here and the yellow in here. So that is Praiseworthy. Okay, the last of the Stella Prize shortlist books that I'm going to be taking away is Hospital by Sanya Rushdi. This is translated by Arunava Sinha. So this one is all about a woman who lives in Melbourne. She was a research student and she gets diagnosed with her third episode of psychosis. As she is moved from her family home to a community house and then to hospital, she questions her diagnosis, determined by a medical model which seems less than convincing to her. Indeed, questioning seems to be at the heart of her mental state. In her overactive interpretations of signs and gestures, thoughts and emotions, an expression of her intelligence, even if they seem illusory. She tells her story in a calm, rational voice, with an acute sense of detail and an objective air, as she wonders when the next psychotic episode will materialize, or if it hasn't or arrived already. And this is autofiction, so it's based on real events that happened, I believe, to the author. And it's translated from the Bengali. So this should be a really interesting read. I've heard good things so far. This was also another difficult one to pair with a bookmark, but I've gone with this one just because of the kind of neutral tones that kind of match in with the neutral tones on the cover. This bookmark comes from Viola Maria Art, and I will link her store down below. She has some really beautiful bookmarks, and you can choose in her store whether you want them with the rounded edges or with straight corners. So that's an interesting little design feature that you can choose. Okay, so those are the Stella Prize shortlist books that I'm planning to take with me. The other books that I'm taking with me, as I said, the next category is books that I'm going to be reading for my book clubs that I'm involved with. So the first one is this one, Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaghy. This one is set in Scotland, and we have a main character who has a twin sister, so it's Inti, and her sister is Aggie. They travel to Scotland to lead a team tasked with reintroducing 14 grey wolves into the remote highlands. She hopes to heal not only the dying landscape, but a broken Aggie too. However, Inti is not the woman she once was, and may be in need of rewilding herself. Despite fierce opposition from the locals, Inti's wolves surprise everyone by thriving, and she begins to let her guard down, even opening up to the possibility of love. But when a local farmer is found dead, Inti knows where the town will lay the blame. Unable to accept her wolves could be responsible, she makes a reckless decision to protect them, testing every instinct she has. But if her wolves didn't make the kill, then who did? And what will she do when the man she's been seeing becomes the main suspect? So this sounds like a really interesting one. The bookmark I've paired it with is this one, which to me, the green in this just vibe-wise went with the browns on the cover here, and also because it's like mushrooms. There's brown mushrooms and red, some beigey kind of coloured ones as well. This one comes from a shop called The Tiny Toucan, and I think this is a beautiful, beautiful bookmark. So that's that one. Okay, the next one that I've got is the one that I'm going to be reading. I actually was supposed to read it in last month, but I didn't, so I've got to bring it with me to the holiday so I can get it done. And it's for my Around the World book club, and this is the book we're reading for, what country would it be? It would be Austria. So this is Thomas Bernhard's Old Masters, which is a comedy. So this one is all about a man, an older man, and it's about his friendship with another older man. For over 30 years, Rija, a music critic, has sat on the same bench in front of a Tintoretto painting in a Viennese museum, railing against contemporary society, his fellow men, artists, the weather, even the state of public lavatories. His friend, Arzbacher has been summoned to meet him, and through his eyes we learn more about Regia and eventually the true purpose of the appointment. At once pessimistic and exuberant, rancorous and hilarious, Old Masters is a richly satirical portrait of the value of art and the pretensions of humanity. So for this one, I've chosen to pair it with the only bookmark I could find that had an artwork on it. So that's this one, and it is an artwork by Tom Roberts called A Summer Morning Tiff. I guess that's what that says. Yeah, A Summer Morning Tiff from 1886. And this is a bookmark that came from the National Gallery of Australia that my mum bought for me. So that's that one. All right, the very last book that I am taking with me on my trip is Autumn by Ali Smith. This is the one that was on my 24 in 24 list, and it's a book that I'm hoping to read because I want to read the cycle of these, and I want to start with Autumn, which I believe is the first one, and it is autumn now in Australia, so that is why I want to read it. So it says, Daniel is a century old. Elizabeth, born in 1984, has her eye on the future. The United Kingdom is in pieces, divided by a historic once-in-a-generation summer. Love is won, love is lost. Hope is hand in hand with hopelessness. The seasons roll round as ever. So this one, I've definitely just gone with the autumnal theme, and I've gone with this bookmark. By May Illustrations, and I think this one is very autumnal vibes, and I think it matches perfectly thematically and colour-wise with this book. So that is my stack of books. Here they are, and their respective bookmarks. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these and what order you would read them in. Which ones should I read first? If you comment early enough, I will probably see your comments while I'm on the trip, and I'll be able to prioritize them because, let's be honest, the chances of me reading every single one of these books is pretty low. So we'll see what we can do. We're going to try our best. But yeah, that's my TBR for my trip away at the time that you're probably watching this. So thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.